Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host Myron. Today, I am going to give you guys the 8 best bourbons of 2022 that I purchased, and I'm going to give you the 8 worst or most disappointing bourbons of 2022 that I purchased. But before we get into that, I am toying with the idea of once I hit 1,000 subscribers, giving away this bottle right here. This is a baby bottle of blends. This is a baby B, as I call it. It is dumped on 5/12/2022, Rickhouse H, number 30, 93 proof, as always. Letter A, like I said, look, I'm toying with the idea. I don't know if I want to do it yet. You guys let me know in the comments if you think it's a good idea. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, go ahead, ship this thing off to one of the lucky subscribers. And then, once I get to 2,000 subscribers, maybe go ahead and ship out a bottle that is the top bottle of my 2022 list. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now I've got a little bit of something in the glass right now. I know you want to know what it is. We will get into that. But first I'm going to give you my number 8 worst bottle. Whistle Pig 6-year bourbon. If you saw the video, you know I just wasn't fond of this thing. It just, the nose was actually a pretty good nose, but I just could not get with the juice that was in the bottle. I said that it had the note of stale mop water. Now that's bad. That's bad. It was tough for me to get it down. I couldn't give it a good review. I tried to let it open up a little bit. It never opened up, and that's the note that I pulled out of it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So that's why it is on the list of worst. It is number 8. It is dead last. Now, let's get to my best number 8 bottle. This bottle right here, 100% malted rye from New Riff. This thing right here is good, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what they did, but I was so scared to get into a 100% rye. And this thing really shocked me. It turned me around. It changed my mind. This thing is so creamy, so sweet. I mean, everything about it, the beautiful fruit notes on it. It's got this just this light, beautiful note in it, and then those fruit notes come out all across the palate. This thing is good. So let's get into number 7. The 7th worst bottle on the bar. This is Still Austin. I just found it to be young. I found it to be young and very grain forward. It had this corn husk note, and I don't mind when it's a corn husk in the nose, but it was all over the palate. And even when it's in the palate, sometimes it's not bad. It adds complexity to the bourbon. This thing right here, it was like I was drinking ground up corn husk, and I just had trouble getting it down. Number 7 on the good side. That is what is in this glass. This will always be on this list. I'm telling you, I don't think that this bottle is talked about enough. Yes, they come in different proofs. This is my 2nd bottle. I've got a baby version of this bottle, a little 375, that I don't even want to open up. I'm kind of cherishing that thing. I'll probably get another big bottle before I open up that 375. Every bottle that I've had so far has been good. Everyone that I've talked to who is in a bourbon, who has purchased one of these bottles, has said it's been good. I have not found anyone that has had a bad bottle of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. I call it the gold label. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but this stuff is good juice. Let's go to number 6 of the bad bottles. Number 6 of the bad bottles goes to Blackened. I was a little hyped up on it because people started talking about how good the Blackened and the Willet was. So I said, well, hey, I'm going to go to a store to see if I can find it. I was in a Virginia ABC. The bottles look very similar. Maybe I just wasn't paying close enough attention, but the Blackened Willet was not what I came home with. I came home with the regular Blackened. It is very grassy. It was just the notes in it, and I tried to get it down. I tried to like it, but I couldn't. It was something in it, just that grassy, nasty, it was super earthy. I just could not get with it. So that's why it's number 6. Let's go to number 6 on the good side. Number 6 on the good side goes to, oh yeah, Elijah Craig C922. Elijah Craig C922, man, those buttery brown sugar, burnt brown sugar, the caramel, the marshmallow. I mean, that thing is just amazing to me. That is one of the best bottles that Elijah Craig has put out in my opinion. I mean, this thing right here, top of the Elijah Craig barrel proof list. Let's go to number 5 on the bad side. Number 5 on the bad side goes to Dickel 8-year bourbon, man. I was so excited to get that bottle. I love the Dickel bottled and bond 13 years so much, and when they said that they had something coming out with more of a bourbon profile, I was quick to hop on it. Soon as I could get my hands on one, I got it, and I'm telling you, I got it home. I was so disappointed. It just had these sharp notes that I just couldn't get with. I pick up a lot of sunflower seed notes in Dickel. Now, people call it sunflower seed nuttiness. That's probably what I'm picking up, just a sunflower seed nuttiness. That's what I pick up in Dickel, but I don't mind that. It was the sharp notes and some of those bitter notes that I just could not get with. All right, let's go to number 5 on the good side. Number 5 on the good side, we've got Booker's. We've got Booker's Lumberyard batch. Believe it or not, the Booker's Lumberyard batch, when I first got it, man, it just did not hit my palate well. It was so bad to me that I didn't even want to do a video. Well, I did a video on it, and it was one of the lost episodes. And I'm glad it didn't get released, because once I got the Kentucky Tea batch was nothing but cinnamon red hot all day long. It was very enjoyable. I mean, I'm telling you, I couldn't say enough good things about it. Then I put it side by side with the Lumberyard batch, because I hadn't touched the Lumberyard batch in months. I let it get down. It got some airtime in the bottle. Completely different animal. It actually beat out the Kentucky Tea batch if you watch that episode. That's how good it is. That cinnamon really shines through. Those sweet notes really shine through. Booker's is always known to have a little bit of a kick to it with the fruit that it has in it. I mean, everything about this pour is enjoyable. Number 4 on the worst side, or most disappointing side. This was a bottle that I couldn't wait to get my hands on. I love Baker's 7-year 107. I've had some great Bakers. I've had 2 that were 7 years, I think one was 7 years, 7 months, and I think one was 7 years, 11 months. Either way, they were excellent. It was the most fruit-forward bean product that I had ever had. I could not wait to get my hands on another one. Finally got my hands on another one. I believe that one was somewhere around 7 years, 2 months, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. It opened up a little bit once it got to the point where this bottle is at. So I said that I would go ahead and see if I could find one closer to that 8-year mark, or maybe beyond that 8-year mark, and give it another chance. The inconsistency is just horrible. I mean, it's just, man, I'm telling you, when the inconsistency is what's consistent about Baker's. I hate to say it like that. This bottle, I got it home. I couldn't wait to get it open. It was going to be, I felt like I was going to have 3 out of 4 that were good when it came to Baker's. No, I am sitting at 50%. It is 2 and 2. When you think of something with the name cigar in it, you think of something that kind of has that, tobacco-y taste. So I've never had a Joseph Magnus cigar blend. This, to me, is what a cigar tastes like when you cut too much off the back end and the leaves get in your mouth. It is nothing sweet about it. It is all bitter. It is all savory. It is nothing sweet that makes you really want to go back to this glass. I've gotten into this bottle, and I've let it get past the shoulder. I tried to get back into it. I let it get down a little further. I tried to get back into it. It seems like nothing I do makes this bottle any better. Let's get to number 4 on the good side. We've got Larceny B522. That Larceny was so good, man. I mean, the fruit notes came forward, the caramel notes came forward, the heavy vanilla. You'll notice that at the top of my list, it's a lot of heavy butterscotch, heavy vanilla, chocolate that comes across the back. I mean, that thing finishes very well. It has a long finish, long chocolate finish. It just hits all of the notes that I love when it comes to a good bourbon. Let me make a little bit of room because I'm starting to get a little crowded up here. Man, I'm telling you, 8 is a lot. Let's go to number 3 on the bad side. This isn't a super bad pour. It was just disappointing to me. This right here, man, this Old Forester King Ranch, that charcoal filtering process that they put it through kind of reminded me of the Jack. I mean, it comes out of the same house, that Brown-Forman house. and it just didn't sit well with me. The nose was so promising. I mean, the nose was nothing but banana pudding, banana bread, banana Laffy Taffies, and then I got into the glass, and it just had this weird note in it that I just couldn't give it. It had a really, and it must be the mesquite that they filter it through, because it had this really spicy wood, and it was all over the palate, and I just didn't really get a lot of sweet notes out of it, and that's why it's on this side of the list. Let's go to number 3 on the good side of the list. You shouldn't be shocked. You shouldn't be shocked. I mean, if you don't know by now, I'm gonna have unicorns and I'm gonna have limited editions. I have to go by what my palate tells me to do. Look, I have some limited ones. I have some things that you can go in and find on the shelves, and I have some unicorns. I mean, I've got to give it to what was good in 2022. This Parker's Heritage was so good. I mean, just it was one of the best bourbons that I've had this year. I mean, look at it. It's got the number 3 spot. I mean, all of that heavy caramel, heavy brown sugar, heavy vanilla, a little bit of char, the spice. I mean, this thing right here, the only reason why it probably didn't get number 2 is because of the oak. To me, it was very oak forward, and that can be all put into some bourbon drinkers, and it's a drying oak. Now, the Larceny did have a little bit of a drying oak too, but it was not as bad as the Heaven's Hill Parker's Heritage. Let's go to number 2 on the bad side. I was a little disappointed in this. It is not bad that it's nasty or anything. I was disappointed because I'm a big fan of the Remus line. That Remus line, oh my gosh, the notes it is so balanced, so well rounded. Everything in the Remus line is pretty much a hitter. But this right here, this is a cask strength Remus, and it was just thin and cinnamon. That's all. Those were the two. That was my experience with it. Now you can put in the comments what you feel about it, but in my experience, it was just thin and cinnamon red hot, cinnamon chewing gum, whatever you want to say. But those were just the dominant notes. So that's why it's on this side of the list. Let's go to number 2 on the good side. This shouldn't be a surprise either. Russell's 13. Russell's 13. It was. It was juicy fruits. It was just a medley of all of the fruits that go in the fruit punch. It was caramel. It was everything that you want in a good bourbon, man. It just and the finish was good. I mean, everything about it. This was one of the best bottles of 2022 in my opinion. I mean, the nose was good. That grape note came shining through. Like I said, it was very fruit forward, but at the same time, it had those brown sugars and caramels and vanillas. I mean, I couldn't say enough good things about this bottle. I gave a couple samples out, and that's why you see it's at where it's at. I gave a couple samples out to some buddies at work, man, and one of my buddies at work, Andrew, shout out, man, he said that this was the best bottle that he's ever had. He even made it a point to hunt the bottle down, and I gotta give Andrew congratulations. He was able to pick himself up a bottle. Let's go to the last bottle on the bad side. I don't want to say that this is a horrible bottle. It was just too sweet for me. Barrel Dovetail with the rum finish and the port finish, it was too sweet. It was too sweet for me. I'm not a big fan of rum. Rum is super sweet no matter what you get. One of the whiskey YouTubers out there, he recommended the Real McCoy. I tried it. It was finished in a bourbon barrel, and it did have that bourbon influence, but it was still too sweet for me. The Plantation 20, that was, it was okay, but that was very sweet as well. I found that I am not a big fan of rum. So I do like port finished bourbons, but when you add that rum flavor to it too, that's just a little too much for me. That's why this one wound up on this side of the list. Let's get to my number 1. You should have known if you've been a fan of the channel for a while. This is my Ladies Liquors store pick. Believe it or not, it is an 8-year. Now we know in bourbon, when it comes to age is not everything. This thing right here is everything I want it to be. It is burnt brown sugar, burnt marshmallows. It is heavy on the caramel, heavy on the butterscotch, heavy on the char. I mean, everything you want a bourbon to be, this is. So, look, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.